happening? It's already out. Hello everybody and welcome back to Osumania Long Note 4, or Osumania Long Note Tournament number 4, sorry. We are continuing this block of matches we have for this round of 32 weekend that's on this fine Saturday. And right now, sorry for a bit of a delay, a bit of technical issues, but we're all set and back for this match. It's going to be myucchii, also known as myucchii, versus Leon, two long note powerhouses, facing it off in this winner's bracket to keep their winner's bracket match alive. As always, I am Arasani, and commentating along with me is going to be none other than Sparky. How's it going, Sparky?
It's going absolutely fantastic. Excited to see this match get fully underway on stream. We were we were having our own little fun little powwow before things got going officially. But we can probably do a quick little recap here as the last quarter of this match. Actually, let's hold it off for this one because this is actually pretty close. 99.89 for myucchii and a 99.86 for Leon, and going right down to the wire here. And this is a lot closer than I think a lot of people were expecting going into this match, because there's already been some surprises in this match, and there's another one in store here if myucchii isn't too careful.
Yeah, this accuracy is really nailing down to the wire, especially with this more density-oriented chart. But we did start a bit late, however, and actually, I think this may shock a lot of people, but myucchii has just tied the match at 1.
Yeah, unseen so far, Leon actually picking up the first point in this match. So myucchii actually playing from behind on that pick and being able to pick up their own first point to make it 1-1 here. And oh boy, who could have seen this coming? The seed discrepancy being 27, you would think like, oh, okay, yeah. But no, Leon is actually a really devastatingly good early to mid game LN player that can hold their own against literally anybody.
Also, like, I feel we can just take seeding out the way here. Like, if we just say that we had no seeds in this tournament and it was just a free-for-all, I think lots of people would also root in myucchii's favor, because I think we can all unanimously say he's one of, if not the greatest player of our current Mania generation here, and just pretty much stretching the human limit of this game, alongside many others as well, but just one of the few standouts that most people point to is myucchii. And I mean, not to say one pick is the end of the world. That is insane still. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was a also fairly close map as well. I can look at the MP just for reassurance, because that pick, the Density 3, was pretty close. Yeah, that was only a difference of 1.8k points. But moving right along now, continuing the trend of density maps, we are heading into Density 1, and myucchii kind of starting off on the wrong foot here, picking up a very, very, very early 200, I think on just the very first LN, but nothing too concerning here.
Yeah, getting settled in here, you imagine that's going to rise rapidly as this map progresses. And, I mean, this might actually be a pretty substantial back and forth. I feel like round of 64, it was a lot of the higher seeded player kind of standing on their perch and kind of daring the lower seeded player to rise up to meet them. But I mean, so far, I mean, Leon's been up to the task on the first two picks here. It's been only hundredths of a percent separating these two players. And I mean, even going to the first pick in this match that we didn't get to show, I mean, myucchii had the higher accuracy. It was just a couple of 200s that really brought the score down just ever so slightly. And if it's going to be that nip and tuck for these two going into this match, then we might actually have the potential to go the distance here if everything stays equal in terms of both players winning their own respective points. And right now, I mean, Leon ahead by the narrowest of margins, 200 points as Bancho tries to keep everything up. It is 0.5% going into the second third.
Yeah, and Leon picks up a couple 200s on these releases here, on some of these more staggered density releases here, going to swing that lead to myucchii only by less than 500 points. And like you mentioned, just a little half of a hundredth of a percentage, or half of a tenth of a percentage in favor of myucchii right now as we head into the back half of this map here. There is such little lead headed over to myucchii, and I would say, I think if Leon kept that V1 double S in their favor, they would still have a lead. It's just that, like you mentioned in our first pick, it came down to those 200s, and I think myucchii found the more quantity of them. But with Leon picking up some, myucchii will definitely take a lead here. But there is still lots of map left to go, and my goodness, this is 100th% of difference.
It is.
Wow.
It is inside of 100 points between the two of them. Like, this is a handful of 300s. Maybe it doesn't even account for maybe a singular 200, the difference between these two. They could very well be tied at this point, and with a quarter of the map left to go, there's a 200 drop from myucchii, and it brings them back down. Leon takes the advantage ever so slightly, but it is still way too close to call with a quarter of the map left to go here.
Yeah, with a quarter of the map, only
I'm
by
seeing
100
points. I'm seeing like
I'm
point
seeing,
margins.
Yeah, 34, 5, 100.
Every
like,
it doesn't know. It's a tug of war between these
yeah.
two. In every stretch of the imagination, this is way
Not
too
even-
close to call.
Not even Bancho knows what is happening right now. We just have to wait until that playfield disappears and the scores are submitted. All we know, it is close as hell right now. And we're heading into our final section of the map. Leon has that ever so slightly accuracy advantage, but myucchii ties them up.
This is 200.
But right now, 200 drop, that's going to solidify it, I think, unless something happens insanely. That lead is still flickering on myucchii's side, but as the map finally stabilizes down, Leon is going to take it. Oh my god, they beat the ratio. Oh my god.
A single 200.
What the hell just happened?
Oh my god. Leon wins that on ratio. Even if it was an equal 200 count, that would have been what, like 300 points?
I don't even want to do the math.
Ridiculous. That no. That god. Okay. It's I mean, Leon, of all people, being like, okay, being on the receiving end of that narrow of a victory, I can understand just being a little shaky. That was a performance of a lifetime. You need to have performances like that against these top-seeded players, because, I mean, they're able to just crank out these 995Ks, being able to do that on demand. Incredible work from Leon, and they retake the lead here 2-1 as myucchii decides to go for Tech 3.
Yeah, from the amount of baseball I've watched, what I can definitely learn here is that playing small ball is definitely the way to go here, and Leon playing a lot of small ball here, taking points. I mean, both sides, honestly. I don't think we've seen a score lead go above 2,000 points yet. It's always just stuck between like 1,000, 1.8k or below. And we are gonna see, I think our first tech pick come out here, Tech 3 come out. So we're gonna see Empath by Imperial. This is, I believe, one of our more trickier technical picks because there is so much being thrown at you in this chart with typical Imperial-based patterning, lots of like free flow, kind of just testing out all these snappings when it comes to these releases here. So lots of different snappings changing. Basically, like I said, free flow LN, which I feel could benefit potentially. I mean, we did see Leon's ratio, so I'm thinking maybe Leon, but also myucchii has insanely good consistency and pretty much can V1 SS anything in their sight. So this is going to be another short, come down to the wire pick, I think we saw with the last map.
Yeah, it's Leon finding a drop in this introduction, already well past that 400 combo cap. That's gonna be the opening that myucchii needs to really blow this lead wide open. Already taking about a 4,000 point advantage right out of this introduction, going into the next quarter of the map, widening that gap to about 0.2%. And this is probably why myucchii was going for these technical picks, those finesse grace those, but myucchii finds the drop in response as well to equalize things back down to that sub 2,000 point margin we've seen so far this match.
And I mean, that is a trade. Even though Leon is a bit behind in that accuracy department, there is still a ton of map left to go to climb up that accuracy. And even then, they are having the benefit of just combo in on itself right now, playing that combo game. And as their accuracy climbs up, they're only 0.03% behind myucchii. And as we are entering the back half of this map right now, we are right back to where we started, ladies and gentlemen. This lead flickering back and forth. Not even Bancho knows who has the lead right now. I just saw 2 points. I just saw 2 points of difference on myucchii's side. What is happening?
It is way too close to call. It's this 0.5 tenth buffer that myucchii is working with right now. And I mean, like I said, rounds past, it's been the lower seeded player needing to climb up to match the accuracy, and Leon has been up to the task so far. First blemishes traded between the two players with regards to those misses. It's just going to be coming down to a matter of if it was a clean miss or if it was a slider break 50 that might be keeping this lead a little bit in check, catchable by Leon. But I mean, myucchii starting to climb back up closer to that 99.8 range. These staggered releases really doing them wonders, being able to rainbow 300 them, while Leon not too far behind, but getting the normal 300s on those releases, putting a little bit of a damper on that recovery effort. And as this last shred of map begins to rain down, it is still inside of 1,000 points. Bancho's trying to keep everything in check. Those misses really throw the calculations off, especially because of the timing. And myucchii is going to stay ahead 1,100 points to margin of victory this time around.
Once again, it was the ratio that decided it all, with myucchii picking up an extra 50 on this chart, but just absolutely demolishing that ratio department. Is almost 1 to 10 right there. And myucchii tying things up even now at 2 off their own pick. So far, no breakpoints have yet to been decided, and I feel that's going to be our main deciding factor here. Is just one breakpoint will seal it all. And we're heading for that carbon dioxide pick now. Coordination 2 coming up right now. Our shortest map in the pool, just shy, or no, our second shortest actually, just shy of 2 minutes here. It's going to be Chase Me. And oh boy, this is going to be probably our closest map by far.
Absolutely. This is straight up just fundamentals test, and I mean, both these two are so locked in at this point. And I mean, the margins of these, it was a 4,000 point lead after that first break from Leon, and it still ended inside of that 1,800 point gap that we have seen be the widest margin of victory between these two. There is so little to work with. We are finding tiny little nitpicks of mistakes between the two players, because what do you do when you're playing near flawlessly? It comes down to those little minute hesitations in playstyle when all is said and done, and it's crazy that this is a round of 32 matchup.
Yeah, this feels like I'm in like the grand finals right now of like a tournament right now, like bracket reset grand finals. How close things have gotten on picks like this. But we are just, this is round of 32, ladies and gentlemen. If this is what we're seeing in the round of 32, I'm scared to see what like even quarterfinals is going to be looking like. This is insane. And like you mentioned, it's just the tiniest of blemishes that come from either side of these players that really decides it all. Whether it be just a spare 200, maybe a slider break, or even just a handful of 300s, that is the deciding factor between these two. And we have yet to see this score lead go above 2,000. And right now, heading into Coordination 2, one of our shorter picks. So Leon really needs, and also myucchii as well, needs to minimize as much room for error as possible. And I feel this is gonna, but Leon, as I say that, drops. And that's what we've been talking about.
Yeah, finding a break on those outer column anchors, it can get a little repetitive. The opportunity to bottom out a key is very real when you're trying to handle the longer anchors interspersed on the other 3 columns. So falling victim to that, I mean, you don't really need much of an invitation if you are myucchii to take that and run with it. But we have seen that lead evaporate before. I mean, the previous pick, trading that miss back, but on a coordination style pick, there's very little in terms of raw release elements to really trip you up. It's just a matter of keeping your focus when you're having to really start to hit those 1-2 presses on any given column during some of these trickier sections. But with a eighth of the map left to go, 0.2% of the advantage, it doesn't look like they're going to be in any way, shape, or form wanting to give that lead back anytime soon.
Yeah, and as this map comes to a conclusion, this is the biggest we have seen the score gap be in. Like, this is the first time we've seen the score gap go above 2,000, and the first time we've even seen it in the 5-digit range. And it came down to that singular break from Leon. Although myucchii still would have taken that point with a V1 double S, 1-10, almost. Is that almost 1-20?
Pretty close. Be like, what,
Almost.
19.4, 19.3? I can't do math right now.
Yeah, that is all I know. Very close from 1-20 ratio, but once again, it was really that one singular combo break that really threw a monkey wrench into this score. And myucchii going to take the first breakpoint of this match and opt for wildcard 2. Bit of an interesting option. I mean, I would see this as Leon did knock out wildcard 3. Maybe not finding comfort on a pick like this. So maybe myucchii was taking that and just seeing, hey, this is going to be one of Leon's weak suits. I might as well just prioritize these more wildcard slash technical charts. And that's what we've been seeing throughout most of this match. We've seen myucchii go for that technical 3 pick, density 3 as well. So maybe just opting for just kind of going all over the place with the variety of maps and just see what Leon struggled with most and just capitalize off that.
Yeah, it definitely feels like in a battle of fundamentals, they both really have a grasp on it. So like those coordination picks really kind of test those kinds of skills, and it feels like myucchii's been wanting to go for these picks that have like these wild start stop staggers all over the place, flam grace notes that we see on more technical style picks. Wildcardy picks have that kind of variety as well to really put pressure on Leon to execute on some of those more freeform style of patternings. And I mean, so far it's worked in their favor. I mean, it's been really slim margins, but still being able to keep their nose ahead at the line when it comes down to it has been the real difference here. Now with that breakpoint to work with, they can kind of get a little riskier with some of these picks and maybe just opting for this one to really push that potential advantage here. But I mean, again, picture perfect starts for both players, 99.9% accuracy, and I feel like that's going to be the bar to work with. Maybe a couple of 300s raining down to bring them back down to that 99.8 range, but I mean, there's still so little to separate these two players as things stand.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really take that much to look back and just see how close things can get between these two, and especially with a more textbook wildcard where most of this map is just this coordination slash release, like staggered release style. It's very, very easy just to really combo this, or ooh, I should not have said that.
I mean, it's the nature of the beast. It's the double-edged sword when you come to these style of picks. These intricate patterns can cause minor issues, and I mean, the one thing that has dotted myucchii's kind of LN journey has always been keyboard issues, where there's double taps here and there that like to rear their ugly head. We've seen it in other tournaments as well. Maybe that's the one thing that, I mean, it's very little in terms of execution. Sometimes it really is external factors that plague their score lines, but I mean, still a very clean drop overall, but it does give Leon a bit of an advantage and a chance to get back that breakpoint that they gave over here with a quarter of the map left to go.
And I mean, this is what we saw in, I believe, oh, I can't remember which pick it was. I think it was Empath, where either, I'm pretty sure it was Empath,
where they traded.
Leon just needed to hold on for dear life, and I mean, they almost had it, but they did find that trade, and it did fly back in myucchii's favor. So I think, I mean, I saw this in Spanadude versus Dark Mewtwo, where if your opponent breaks, take as much advantage as you can to capitalize off every single possible drop that they perform. And Leon is executing this perfectly right now with that break from Myucca, tying things up at 3 in only 7
You're telling me it
300s
came
of
within 7.
yeah, you're telling me if Myucca didn't find those 2 misses and it was a perfect gameplay from both sides, it would have came down to just 7 300s. And wow, we are really seeing pure trades here. We're seeing a trade in breakpoints now, back-to-back breakpoints, and we are tied at 3. What is happening?
Myucca's finger was too long. It actually went to the upper row of their keyboard. That's okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're getting really into a map, it's very easy to lose track, especially depending on how your like playing technique is. But to have it happen here, that's really unfortunate. But I mean, Leon, the beneficiary, able to get back that breakpoint. We're back to parity, and it's essentially a best of 3 now.
This is probably the match of the this is probably going to be the match of the round of 32. I don't think anything will get close to something like this. And I mean, what better way than to opt for our original here? Wildcard 1 gonna come out. Don't think, Dot Just Feel coming out here. And honestly, shout out to, I'm going to butcher
It's
who
Super Tony.
shout out Super Tony for an absolute banger. This is a very, as someone who specializes in more of that computer / technology field, it's very fun to see stuff like this where it's just spinning computer. But interesting that I mean, I can see it honestly opting for wildcard 1. I believe wildcard 3 did go in favor, or no, wildcard 2, I'm sorry, did go in favor of Leon. So just keep on with that trend and go for wildcard 1. Also, I forgot to mention, but Myucca with the 2 misses still pulled off a 990.
Yeah, I mean, just that's textbook Myucca score.
Yeah.
Couple misses, so 990k. But regardless, this is as down to the wire as we could expect it to be as we get this map started. A little bit longer in the grand scheme of things, but still so little separating these two players that we've seen both of them trade pretty heavy misses in the grand scheme of things to each other. And I mean, outside of that, it's still just a matter of execution where the margins in terms of the 300 counts have been so small. Inside of 30, we saw 7 in the last map alone if everything was all square. So even when they are playing absolutely perfectly, it's still very little separating the two of them. And right now, still no different. A third of the map already gone through. It is 100%, 75 points separating both players.
My goodness. We are basically back to where we started in the first couple picks of this match, where it was like down to at least like the bare minimum of 1,000 points of difference, but it is 100% of difference between these two as we're virtually tied. But Leon finding a couple 200s there that will put a tiny dent in their score. But I think Myucca also in that low accuracy department, and I believe also picking up a couple 200s as well. 99.79 for them. And I mean, it's not entirely over for Leon, as all it takes is a couple 200s on the side of Myucca. And how tricky this map can get, it is pretty hard to pull off a very, very good score on this. Very 200 heavy with a lot of these shields, lots of these bursty LNs, and it is a pretty frightful choking hazard if you are not careful enough. And I mean, Myucca heading into the final 6 of this map, still 1,000 points in favor of them. So not the biggest of score leads, even though what the accuracies are telling you, Myucca, all it takes is a 200 and that lead flickers into Leon.
This is still don't want to say anything type situation, because you don't want to be the curse upon the two players. But I mean, so far going through this outro, there's still some pretty technical patterns to read through as things come to an end. Myucca manages to hang on 1,600 points, the margin of victory, winning the ratio battle once again. 200 counts equal It's just the extra 300s there being the undoing for Leon, and the breakpoint goes back to Myucchii, and it goes back to their pick to try and close this out and avoid that potential tiebreaker.
And I mean, seeing how the last breakpoint went, it's just been back breakpoints, so maybe the trend can continue. These players have basically been trading everything, as Leon gave that breakpoint to Myucchii, and then Myucchii gave that breakpoint to Leon, and now Leon giving the breakpoint back to Myucchii. What's the pattern going to be? Are we going to see another breakpoint given to Leon and send this match, this already insane match, to just put it 10 tiers above what it currently is, to a breakpoint? Or can Myucchii close things out? Wildcard 3 is banned.
Yeah, it's banned. Oh, man. What do you go for here? You got 2 tech picks. You got coordination 3. Why am I getting banned from saying WC3? You can't. Because you can't. That's illegal, dude.
Tech 12, guys. Yep.
Pull from the future. Play the grand finals tech pick. Oh, God. All right. I mean, Tech 3 worked for Myucchii. Tech 2. Gonna be the pick here.
Oh man, the final pick of regulation, and this is a very short, or very light as well map. Not extremely short, almost like 2.5 minutes, but man, this is going to be the accuracy battle of the century right here. This is a very, very simple tech map. I don't think these players will find any major breaks. Yeah, I say that, but then something insane is gonna happen, and then I'll end up eating.
Dude, from your mouth to God's ears, something will happen in this map. This is gonna be a ride. Leon needs to win this pick to go to tiebreaker. Myucchii needs to win this to avoid an extra map, avoid the MSG in the tiebreaker, and punch their way into the round of 16. This has been a hell of a matchup between these two, and I mean, if nothing else, the mutual respect these two have for each other. They've been around for so long at this point that I mean, they're no strangers to being put in these situations before. But as things stand, it's going to be a case of, can Leon rise up to the occasion to match Myucchii in terms of their overall accuracy? They've done it before in this match already. It's not out of the realm of possibility that they can do it. It's 1/10% though.
An early 200 was picked up from Leon, and that will put a slight dent in Myucchii's score. I mean, not Myucchii's score, Leon's score. That will give Myucchii a slight lead by roughly 700 points or so. And I mean, we just started off this map. There is still a third left to go, so it's not entirely out of the ordinary yet. I mean, we have seen many other situations happen in this match where I think this is the least of these players' concerns. A singular 200. And Leon is closing that gap in accuracy right now. They are climbing up at a rapid pace right now. 0.02% behind Myucchii right now, as we are opting in for that back half of the map. Myucchii really just needs to stay ahead of Leon right now in that accuracy department. And Leon picks up another 200, I believe.
This leaderboard has had happy feet the entire match. It feels like just dancing back and forth as it tries to keep track of who's in the lead at any given moment. And I mean, to be fair, 2 FCs on the board, it's pretty easy to tell just based off the accuracy alone, but that doesn't make it any less surprising to watch it flicker back and forth, because it feels like at any moment something will just fly off the rails. It's 0.04% separating the two players. Leon with the impetus to get back up to that 99.8 range. Myucchii needing to stay at that mark to try and stave off Leon. It is just trades back and forth of just rushes of 300s, it feels like. And with an 1/8 of the map left to go, this is still anybody's game.
Yeah, and also you really have to take into consideration the amount of nerves these players are currently experiencing right now, especially Leon being on the chopper's block, or being on the chopping block of potentially getting out of this winner's bracket, but also Myucchii having the nerves of just trying to take this match. And I mean, the map is coming so close. The lead is flickering back and forth. 500 points in myuccii's favor coming to the end. And it came down to ratio once again. Oh my goodness.
My God. What are these two people doing, man? That is insane.
Happening? 33 300s was the difference between these two. Oh my God.
Oh, that is crazy. What a performance from these two. Leon taking it to myucciii early on, getting those 3 points off of them. No, I mean, that is no small feat in and of itself. That is a titanic effort. Just so good. But from them, the fact that they're going down to the losers bracket is... It's hard not to feel for Leon needing to make that run, because now they're having to do the conditional matches as well. But I have no... There's no doubt in my mind that they have the ability to make a pretty deep run in that losers bracket. And myucciii surviving a bit of a scare here in round 32. Yeah. I mean, we look at the qualifying gaps between players, and once you get up into that top 32, I mean, the margin for error between that top 32 is so small. It's maybe a couple thousand points on average between 1 and 31. So, I mean, surviving the scare early maybe gives them the motivation to keep at it, because, I mean, there are some pretty good sharks in this water.
Yeah, I was just taking a look at the bracket right now. myucciii, they are either going to verse Plana or Minwoo next week in that winner's round of 16. While for Leon, I wouldn't be surprised if their opponent has already been decided. No, it's either going to be Newson or Zubin. And can I just say, that is going to be an insane match. The UK veterans battle, pretty much. Basically. As those are probably the two players that have been around the longest in the UK that are still active in this current moment. Yeah. And I mean, they have so much history of being teammates in Mania World Cup and whatnot and other various tournaments. But I mean, what a better way to end off this match than with just a tiebreaker for fun here.
Yeah, I mean, it feels this had the writing on it that it could have come to this. This could have actually been for actual stakes, but I mean, what could have been? It's those fine margins between the two players, and myucciii, when it comes down to it, has been in those situations before where they've had to pull out some actual heroics to keep themselves alive in tournaments before, and this was one of those moments where, all right, don't let it happen again. Kind of a internal communication to themselves.
This is a very, very interesting tiebreaker, a custom as well, multi-stage. I'll just say MSG because that's what most people are knowing this map by. I personally do not know any backstory whatsoever. I've been living under a ginormous rock for this, but.
Oh, actually, it does bear noting, for those of you watching along, that you're like, oh yeah, I mean, these guys are playing it, this looks pretty easy. I mean, to me it doesn't, but if you are watching along, we do actually have the side event going on, the Ordeal and Illusion, where you can actually play this map and submit your score to the leaderboards that we have in the Discord, to see if you stack up against other players that have been playing this map. You don't have to be in the tournament to play this map and submit a score to be entered for some nice little tickets to win some fun little raffle prizes. Once the 33 whole monies.
Yeah, 33 gumballs up for grabs if you are one of the lucky winners of this draft, or like this raffle, whatever ticket thing. I sound like a radio host.
Listen, and if you think that the tiebreaker is a little bit too hard, one of the previous maps from Super Tony is also
Don't Think Just Feel.
Yes, going to be on that. There's leaderboards for that map also. So if you feel like this one might be a little bit of a bridge too far, because this is actually meant to be like, I mean, you know, the tiebreakers have to be a little bit harder than the rest of the map pool. You can play something that's actually tuned to round of 32 and see how you stack up there. So definitely take some time. You never know. There's a lot of really good players, but I imagine there's a lot of players that either didn't make it into this tournament or are LN players that might just not have had a chance to sign up or just didn't know. And you can get involved. I mean, it's very nice. It's been fun. It was fun seeing a pretty decent amount of people play last week's tiebreaker to get themselves on that leaderboard. There's some pretty surprising scores as well.
Right now, I mean, you say that, and right now, the mark to beat for MSG, if you want that top spot for Ordeal and Illusion, it is a 993.1k from Spanner Dude, also known as Ting Momentum. So if you want to get that top spot, you're gonna have to beat a 993 from, I believe, from Spanner Dude, who is playing in this tournament, by the way. I believe they just finished up. Them against Dark Mew 5-1. And then if you think, oh, well, that map's too hard for me, I'll try Don't Think, Just Feel. The mark to beat there is a bit nicer. It is a 991.5 set by Zeno. So if you think you have what it takes to beat a 991.5, give it a shot. And even if you don't have the confidence, just still give it a shot. You still have a shot to at least, like even if you just submit a score, you'll get a ticket. If you're not in the top 3, top 5, or whatever, you'll still get one ticket. So it's all on luck.
Yep, and I mean, like you were saying, you touched on it briefly. You don't have to finish first to get the tickets to enter. I think it's a amount dispersed to, I think, the top 8, and then, like you said, other folks for just. I mean, you can't go to the show if you don't buy a ticket, and buying a ticket is playing the map, and the instructions are there. You get to. It's a pretty simple automated process. You just need to take a screenshot, get the replay, and submit those. So. Pretty easy, and if nothing else, bragging rights. Be able to tell your friends, it's like, hey, I outscored you, because we all know how lucrative leaderboards are.
Exactly. And oh wow, what are we seeing right here from myucchii right now? Are we gonna see it? I'm just
holding our breath. Leon finding a couple of breaks in this map, unfortunate, but doing pretty well in their own right. 99.6. I can imagine in a pressure situation, this might have been a little bit closer, but with no stakes on the line, I imagine it's a little bit foot off the gas there a little bit. But
994. My goodness! Quick, myucchii, take a screenshot and upload your replay.
Yeah. 5 200s on a tiebreaker. That's ridiculous. That's
that is insane. myucchii winning all the MSG here.
Yeah, makes it taste even better being able to keep themselves alive in that winner's bracket. But that will do it for this match. There's still more matches to come as we roll right along this round of 32 weekend. Our next match going to be taking place at the top of the hour, so in about 10 minutes. We'll take a tiny little break here. It will be, looks like it's a doubleheader.
Versus, it's gonna be. These are gonna be some good matches. It's gonna be Nepijin. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Plano Minwoo and Nepijin by Yetka at this next hour.
Some of the top United States players going up against some of the top players in their respective countries as well. Like top US player Nepijin going up against top Polish player Yetka, and then top Filipino player Plana going up against another top US player Minwoo. These are going to be some exciting matches. Do not miss out on that. But for now, I think we could wrap up on this one hell of a match we have just seen. I've been Air Sunny, commentating along with Sparky. Any closing remarks?
No, I think you've got everything sorted here. So go ahead and take y'all's break. We'll see you guys in about 10 minutes. Take care, y'all.
Yep. See you later.